Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, December 1st, 2016. I'm Keith Tebow. This week we talk extensively with Fall River Mayor Jesus Correa about a variety of citywide revenue-generating and marketing projects, including the unveiling of the city's new slogan. We provide the results of a recent Board of Health hearing concerning tobacco violations, and we get an inside look at a holiday giveaway program for needy families. But first, let's look at the headline issues of the week. After a week off, Will Richmond from the Herald News is rejoining us this week. Will, welcome back. How was your holiday?
It was good, Keith. How was yours?
Very, very good. And you're on the phone this week. We're having some technical difficulties with our Hangouts connection, but we're glad to get you in nonetheless. Let's talk a little bit about that marketing plan. We've teased it here in the show. We'll have more a little bit later on. This week, the City Council Finance Committee actually voted to transfer money to go toward the mayor's plans to create a marketing plan for the city of Fall River, and it was announced that the new slogan for the city will be "Make It Here." Will, fill us in on how that evolved and how it got to be where it is.
Sure. The mayor's office contracted with two Rhode Island companies to help develop this slogan, "Make It Here." It seems to sort of apply to both the city's manufacturing history as well as the concept of, people can come to Fall River, they can make a living here, and sort of move forward. So there's a little bit of looking back, a little bit of looking ahead with the concept. Going forward, the two contracts cost $100,000, so that in addition to the slogan, also brings with it the effort to start rolling it out, to kind of get a nonprofit organization together that will move this slogan forward, along with a marketing plan for the city. So this is, I don't think this is a replacement for We'll Try, but it's sort of a new concept to kind of put the city behind. Well,
I know that the mayor's office has announced that the city seal will stay the same, excuse me, which includes the "We'll Try" motto that is on the city seal. So this is something above and beyond to market the city, to get businesses hopefully to come in and offer jobs to city residents, and also make it potentially a tourist destination. So what's next? I know that there had been plans initially to roll out some sort of big event next year of some sort, and also launching an official logo that will go along with the campaign. What's the timeline for any of that, if you know?
Well, it looks at this point that those will really be the functions of the nonprofit organization that's being formed in conjunction with the slogan. So that group, which is still to be formed, will really be the ones that would be responsible for fundraising and moving forward the concept of that event that's related to this. I know in the past the mayor has said he's kind of looking for something that would sort of fill the role of what Fall River Celebrates America used to be, but certainly the money needs to be raised to get that option off the ground. I know it's something he's hoping to do, or initially it said he's hoping to get it in place by next summer. So that's sort of the next step with the summer, August timeframe, I believe, eyed for that event. And I think the other aspects of it, such as the logo and that type of stuff, would move along with the work of that nonprofit group. So it would be a rollout that sort of culminates with that event coming next summer.
Right. As you know, a lot of times these marketing slogans become heavily criticized by people who will like to look at things like this and pick it apart. We can look at the Rhode Island issue earlier this year with cooler and warmer, the slogan for Rhode Island. What are you hearing in terms of reaction to this slogan?
Well, I think, there's a lot of skeptics that come along with this. I think the idea of spending money on a slogan and marketing kind of gets people a little concerned. I think the social media response has been very skeptical, but you kind of have to expect that with social media responses as well. So, I think there's people who are going to say that $100,000 could have been spent on other things, or that
Right.
the city should be focusing on other matters. But, what is also missed on this quite often is that city government doesn't operate singularity. That's not like everything stops so they could address this issue.
Right.
Other things are happening in the government, in city government. So I think, part of this is give it the time to see what happens with it. Even in the case of the Rhode Island slogan, as much of a failure as that process was, a study was done afterwards that found for the failure of it, Rhode Island got a ton of exposure out of it.
There you go.
Because it failed so miserably. So
The old adage, any publicity is good publicity, right?
yeah, they got Rhode Island on the national news and that kind of stuff. So things can come out of this, but only time will tell what happens with it.
All right, let's switch gears. The U.S. Housing and Urban Development Secretary was in Boston yesterday talking about that public housing authorities across the country, including here in Fall River, which receives money for its public housing, those locations that receive this federal funding will be facing a new regulation for its residents, in that the federal government's going to be calling for no smoking at some of these housing projects. And as many of you know, there's a number of them here in the city of Fall River. How is Fall River going to handle that announcement and that edict coming from the Obama administration, no smoking in the city housing projects?
Yeah, I'd actually spoke with Housing Authority Executive Director Dave Sullivan earlier today on this topic, and he mentioned that it was something that they were aware was coming, so they've been working on a plan for implementation with the announcement expected. At this point, he said there is no firm time frame for when it would be implemented, and even the announcement yesterday came with the caveat that with the switch over at the presidential administrations, it will be up to the presidency of Donald Trump and his administration to fully roll this out and set a firm timeline for when the requirement would go into effect.
Right.
So at this point, the Fall River Housing Authority is working on it. They are preparing the regulations should it be required. But when it will go into effect for the federal housing properties is still to be determined. On the state housing authority side, that one is a little more up in the air, but a plan is being looked at for that as well, in case they decide to go with a full non-smoking policy for all housing authority units.
All right, well, we'll just be following that as it progresses. All right, Will, what's coming up at the Herald over the next few days?
Well, we will be doing full coverage of this weekend's holiday parade, so that will obviously be an exciting weekend for Fall River. Really kicks off the holiday season. And, we'll have full coverage of all the holiday events this weekend. We got the lineup of the parade on Saturday. We have the Durfee Craft Fair this weekend, which is celebrating its 40th year. The Greater Fall River Recreation Party on Sunday. And then, of course, the tree lighting being held on Monday night. So if you weren't ready for Christmas, this weekend should probably get you in the mood.
Yeah, I know, especially today. It's beautiful. It's mild in the 50s and doesn't feel like December, but I guess I should hold my breath because we know that's going to change very soon. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We'll talk again next week.
All right, have a good weekend, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media news right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Fall River Career Center. Accounting clerk. Robert Half Accountemps of Fall River is seeking a part-time accounting clerk responsible for processing accounts payable, entering accounts receivable, processing payments, and preparing deposits. Must be familiar with QuickBooks, Microsoft Excel, Word, and Outlook. Job number 819-5707. General Manager. McDonald's Restaurant is in need of a general manager to manage and operate the independent restaurant franchise located at 1690 President Avenue in Fall River. The general manager is responsible for hiring and developing department shift managers. Job number 817-8999. Dentist. Dental Dreams is actively seeking an associate dentist to join their team at 45 Mariano Bishop Boulevard in Fall River. Must be able to obtain a Massachusetts dental license. Job number 819-3323. Bristol Community College is looking to fulfill the following positions at its Fall River campus. Academic Career Services Counselor, job number 819-9589. Second Shift Maintenance Associate, job number 819-9233. Water Treatment Lab Technician, job number 819-8090. Associate Vice President of Administration, job number 819-4752. For more information on these or other positions, visit FRCmedianews.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. At a news conference this week, Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa announced his intention to generate revenue for the city through leasing or buying sites along Route 195 through the heart of the city to establish an array of LED billboards along the highway. The mayor says his team signed a contract with Capital Associates to oversee the outdoor advertising plan, which is expected to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in extra income for the city. FRC Media News sat down with the mayor, who explained why his administration did not opt to oversee the project in-house.
The problem with that is we don't have the expertise or the time or the relationships, for example, to do the siting, right? We don't know what is the most appropriate site. Then you got to get the permits from the state. We can help with that process, but we probably don't want to commit a lot of our time being at the State House, getting the permits, all that stuff. So we had to bring in a consultant and a group that could actually put this up and has a proven track record of doing this successfully. And really what's important here is the city, after these are built, also we don't want to contact Coca-Cola, for example, and have to get into a contract with them. What's really nice about Capital Associates, they already have those relationships. So the more boards that they have up, the more Coca-Cola or whatever company that they already have in their portfolio will lease. So it is really a nice relationship, and we stand to make a substantial amount of money for the city on a recurring revenue basis if it does work out well.
Mayor Correa also said the LED billboard project will not happen overnight.
I also want to caution people, just so that, this is not something that happens overnight. It takes time. And in fact, the way the contract was set up is if they can't produce the permits, if they can't produce the sites, they don't get paid. So it's a win-win for both the corporation that's putting up the billboards, Capital Associates, and the city of Fall River, because we only stand to benefit. We're not paying them a fee, where if they don't produce, then we don't get anything. They only stand to benefit and only make a profit if they can actually pull this off, and the city will make some nice revenue from it. So we're hopeful, but we also want to caution people that this is not something set in stone. It's not a guaranteed $1 million a year. We want to see what happens, and we want to take things slow.
As we mentioned earlier in the show, Mayor Correa unveiled his citywide marketing campaign to promote a positive image of Fall River to the rest of the country. Part of the plan, Mayor Correa says, is that the city will have a new upbeat slogan.
The new mantra will be "Make it here." And that is interchangeable, right? It can be like a GPS destination. You've made it to your destination. Make it here, right? Make it to Fall River. So you can imagine us putting advertisement in travel magazines. Make it here, make it in Fall River, etc. Make it to Fall River with a map or something like that. So it's very interchangeable. That's for tourism. It also has a really nice meaning when you're talking about making products. You have Matuk and the linens that they make at Matuk. You have New England Shirt. You have Vanson Leather. You have all kinds of, all the numerous bakeries that make all these great, wonderful tasting sweets and all kinds of stuff right here in Fall River. So Make It Here has another meaning, which would be to make your product here. So if you're a business and you're coming to the city of Fall River and you see that, our slogan is "Make It Here," that's pretty convincing. That's pretty, that's pretty fun.
While the city's new logo design has not yet been revealed, Correa gives us a hint.
The logo itself will be an F and an R that'll kind of look weaved as if it were, fabric being weaved together, which is also about, it pays homage to obviously the textile fabrics, but it also is going to be pretty cool because each of the wires or the strings will be a different color and it'll have a different connotation. So blue, for example, Braga blue might be transportation, green may be tourism, yellow may be, education. And you can imagine on a website that page would be themed yellow because of education, or green because of tourism, et cetera. So it's coming together really nicely.
2 Fall River store owners were penalized for selling tobacco products to minors over the past year and had to face the city's Board of Public Health this week to explain why. Here's Donna Mata with more.
The Fall River Board of Public Health met this week to discuss violations of tobacco sales to minors at 2 different stores in the city, Cloverdale Farms and Country Farms. Representatives from both establishments attended the hearings, and both were second-time offenders. The board suspended the sale of tobacco products at Country Farms for 7 consecutive business days as a result of selling tobacco to minors to begin January 4th, 2017, while the matter concerning the charges against Country Farms was tabled as a result of issues brought up by the owner's attorney. The stores were issued fines for selling tobacco products to minors, which were paid. Once the fines are issued, it is then up to the Board of Health to determine if license suspensions are also warranted in any case concerning tobacco and alcohol violations. Following the hearing at Government Center, FRCMedia News spoke with Inspector Sarah LaRue, who is a city employee and works in collaboration with the Western Bristol County and Foxborough Tobacco and Alcohol Prevention Collaborative. LaRue says the violations against the 2 stores this week were the result of random compliance checks and explained how those checks are conducted.
Okay, we have youth that we train. The state trains them. They have to be at least 16 years old, so 16 and 17 years old. We will pick them up. We take them to a round of compliance checks, whatever it is, a zip code or a town, and we'd send them in with the money. They try to purchase a product. If they're able to, they come out. We mark it immediately. We mark the money, the change that they got, the time, the date, and it is brought back to the office into evidence, and we would issue a ticket at that point. If no sale is made, it's just marked in the file that there was no sale on that check.
For FRCMedia News, I'm Donna Mata.
And we'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
So this is Bentley. Bentley's an 8-year-old Yorkshire Terrier mix. As you can see, he's a bit of a snuggle bug. Sort of just kind of makes his way up on top of you. He can be a little bit skittish, as we just saw a moment ago. He was hiding under our friend here. Because he's 8, he also qualifies for our Senior for Senior program. So if you're 55 or older, he'd just be $25. He's a nice little guy, as you can see. Really cuddly. Oh, where's Tish? Aren't you nice? He's less the super playful and more the I just want to kind of cuddle with you. So if that's something that interests you, I would definitely come down and give him a look-see.
Meet Caramello. She was an owner surrender. She's about 6 or 7 years old. And the reason she's so small probably is because she was a breeder. I find her to be a very pleasant cat, a very quiet cat. She has other cats in her world and she's okay with that, but she tends to keep to herself. But she is a very striking cat. She's what we call a red patch tabby. Come and see her at Forever Paws Animal Shelter. We're located on 300 Linwood Street in Fall River. We're open 11 to 4 every day but Wednesday, and that includes Sunday.
Fall River's anti-poverty agency, Citizens for Citizens, is currently holding its annual holiday giveaway program that will provide gifts to the children of needy families. Called Operation Christmas, CFC's Director of Community Organizations, Barbara Travis, has overseen the program for the last 40 years. She explains why people who donate toys and clothing essentials continue to do so on an annual basis.
When we say that we'd like the donations, that goes into an Operation Christmas account, only to be used to buy the toys. When we say that when to register, we go out to all the Head Starts, to the school department, to our Head Starts, to the Fall River School Department. Some of the girls down at Health First that work in the health center come across families. So we're outreaching to make sure. Last year, we did over 4,000 children. And what they get is hats and mittens, stocking stuffers, and a major gift.
Culinary arts students at Bristol Community College in Fall River were hard at work perfecting their cooking skills this week, but took an interesting break in the middle of it all. According to Assistant Professor of Baking and Culinary Arts Gloria Cabral, the idea for the break came from Facebook.
So you're saying that they're working and then freezing in place? Like, what is the purpose of that?
It's just to show a little humor in life, a little bit of stuff. So they will be working, and whatever they're doing, they will stop at that point. We'll walk around, the camera person will walk around, and it shows all these things in action, so you never know what's going to happen in a kitchen. They do this, and they all over the country. We've seen them in some of the nicest restaurants. Alain Ducasse, which is a very expensive restaurant, they stopped and it have the flames going, but the people stopped. So it's just to kind of give a little humor to life.
How many students are participating, and how long do they have to freeze?
Oh, we have 20 plus students because we'll have both culinary and baking doing this, and they'll have to freeze for about 2 minutes in different actions. We'll go from the culinary, the bake shop, to the dining area, so they'll be at all different areas of what we do here.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can catch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m., but online 24/7 at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday.